She got her own house. She got her own house. She got her own house.
Hey family, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about employment requirements in Naca. So let's talk about it. If you've been following my channel for a while now, then you'll know that I've already done a video talking about how to calculate your affordability. If you missed that video, I'll link it up top. Go ahead and check it out. It's one of my #1 videos on this channel. But I did talk a little bit about the work requirements, not much, because that video was just focused on how to help you calculate your affordability with NACA. I've also done a video on changing jobs while you're going through the NACA process. If you missed that video, I'll link that one up top as well so that you can check that out. But going back to my NACA Basics or NACA One-on-One series, I realized that I have not done a video dedicated specifically to the work requirements. So thank you to one of my viewers that brought it to my attention that there have been a couple of updates to the program for what NACA requires of you as far as work documentation and work requirements. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, you see the red thumbnail. You know that means that I got some live footage. You know I've been attending these home buyers workshops like crazy. So stick around. I am going to play exactly what one of the NACA counselors had to say about the new updated requirements for employment. So let's start with W-2 employees. This information that I'm about to say was pulled from the NACA workbook on page 36. I'm going to go ahead and flash it on the screen now so that we can read together. So under income qualification, the general criteria is that you must have steady income over the past 24 months. Number 2, variety of income sources, meaning, just types of income or what NACA considers income. And that is wage, self-employment, alimony, social security, pension, child support, and other documented income. Also, let's skip down a little bit because we're just talking about W-2. We're not talking about self-employed yet. So you must document this income and demonstrate that it will continue in the future. Sources of wage income include salary, wages, overtime, bonuses, and commissions. You will need to have consistent income for at least 2 years. However, an exception to the 2-year requirement can be considered with at least 1 solid year of income if you can show that you have spent the prior year advancing your career or improving your skills. Having worked at the same job is not required because many low to moderate income workers change jobs due to the nature of their work or their attempts to improve their situations. Any recent income gap of 30 days or more will be evaluated to determine if it impacts income stability. The employment section of the credit report must match the employment information and documentation you provide, and any mismatch must be explained in writing. So, in a nutshell, that's simply saying that you need to have 2 years worth of work history. The second year can be a little shoddy, but you definitely need to have steady income and consistent income for the past 12 months. Now, what happens if, and I've gotten this question before, so I'm glad I can answer it in this video for the masses, but what happens if you didn't have a job for a period of time and by a period of time, I mean longer than 30 days, and you received unemployment? Does NACA recognize unemployment as income? The answer to that question is no, NACA does not. I will flash this on the screen now. One of the responses from one of the NACA employees on the homebuyers workshops, the names have been blurred out for privacy reasons, but as you can see, the answer is no, and that you must also have the 1099 that you received for the unemployment, as well as a letter of explanation and the award letter that you must submit with your web file. Now, I can speak from experience here on this one. I don't know if you caught the video that I posted last summer when I almost lost my Naca home. I'll link that one as well so that you can check it out. But the issue was I changed jobs, which is completely allowed. You are allowed to change jobs. But my issue was that I have a job where I get bonused. And so, because I changed jobs and I closed on my house before I had been at my job an entire year, all they did was count my base salary. They were not allowed to tack on my bonuses that I received because I had not been there a full 12 months and could not demonstrate consistency. Now, that is not just a NACA policy. A lot of lenders have that same policy where they want to see 12 months worth of consistency for overtime, bonuses, commissions, etc., in order for them to calculate that into your affordability. But I did learn that the hard way. They did not give me any sort of exception to this. Thankfully, I still qualified for my home using my base salary, or else I would have been up a creek essentially, because I couldn't rush being there at my job any longer, and my house was almost finished and my interest rate was about to expire. So it was just a lot. So, but like I said, they are stickler on that. They need to see you there for 12 months in order to consider any type of overtime or bonuses or commission. Now, this next slide that I'm going to show, I pulled directly from the Homebuyers Workshop presentation, which you can also get. It's available on naca.com, but I'll go ahead and flash it on the screen now. So you can see under the income stability for W-2 income, the requirements are 2 years of employment history with 1 solid year of employment and income. Also of note, under other income, you have to have been receiving it consistently for 1 year and also provide documentation that it is currently being received in at least 5 years remaining. So, in a nutshell, that just means if you are getting alimony, child support, or something like that, you have to be receiving it going forward after you close for the next 5 years. So, if your child is 13 and below for child support and you've been receiving it consistently for a year, then you can use child support as income for, and have that added and tacked on to your affordability amount to increase your monthly PITI. Now let's look at the required documentation that you must submit to NACA for your income. Again, I pulled this slide from the Homebuyers Workshop presentation. I'll flash it on the screen now. So under the requirements for income qualification documents for W-2 income, you need 30 days of pay stubs, the last 2 years of W-2s, and the last 2 years of tax returns and tax return transcripts. Under other income, you need an award letter or evidence of entitlement, as well as 12 months history of receiving the income with at least 5 years remaining. So now let's move on to self-employment income requirements. And this is where I'm going to play the live footage that I got from the Homebuyers Workshop. But before I play that footage, I'm going to go ahead and read the requirements that are listed in the workbook. I'm going to flash that same page up, page 36 from the workbook, so that we can read along. So if you skip down to self-employment income, it says the income calculation for NACA qualification uses either the average of your tax returns of the last 2 years or last year's tax return and your most recent 12-month cash flow. You must have 2 years of consistent self-employment income and provide the last 2 years of tax returns. The determination of your cash flow requires your most recent 12 months of bank statements with business deposits and expenses identified, as well as your most recent tax return. So one change that has been spelled out in writing now by NACA is the difference between 1099 employees or business owners. So if you are a subcontractor, you file a Schedule C still on your personal tax returns. You use your social security number to do, Uber or whatever, then you are considered a 1099 contractor. Now, if you have an LLC or an S corp, etc., and you file business taxes, then you have different requirements. So I'm going to go ahead and play the live footage now, and then I'll be back.
The past year, no. You could have had 3 jobs, but there's no gap in between those 3 jobs. And for 1 year solid, you've been receiving income. So that's the minimum requirement. However, you got to show a history of 2 years or more. For other income, there's Social Security, disability, child support, alimony, all that income, we must show, document that you've been receiving it for 1 year consistently, as well as being able to document verifying that it's currently being received through your bank statements or direct deposit, however, and at least 5 more years remaining, you're going to be able to receive it still. Because if you're not going to receive it for more than at least 5 years remaining, then we can't consider that income. Has to be at least stable for at least 5 more years. Self-employed, we need 2 years of that you're in the same business, 2 years of having filed your taxes, and 12 months of bank statements automatic, because we need to do a cash flow analysis. Now, the requirements are the following. As far as documentation, for W-2 income, 30 days worth of pay stubs, the award letter will indicate on there how much more or how many more years you'll be receiving that amount. Now, for self-employed members, we need 12 months of bank statements across the board automatically. If you're 1099 self-employed, those are our self-contracted employees, okay? We need 1099 forms for the past 2 years. So our Uber drivers, Lyft, DoorDash, all those subcontracted contractors, 1099s for the past 2 years. We need the last 2 years of tax returns and tax return transcripts. And if you're a corporate owner, if you own your own business, you also file not only your tax returns personals and tax return transcripts personals, but you also file your corporate tax returns and corporate tax return transcripts. So we will need those in addition to your personals. But that's only if you own your own business.
All right, so now let's get back into these income stability requirements. I'll flash it back on the screen now. So for self-employed, you're going to have to be 2 years in the same business, okay? And then you're also going to have 2 years of filed taxes, 12 months of bank statements / cash flow analysis. Also, we can go ahead and skip to the next one under income qualification documents that are required. For self-employed, you're going to need 12 months of bank statements. If you are a 1099, you're going to need your 1099s for the past 2 years. And then you're going to need the last 2 years of tax returns and transcripts. And if you own your own business, if you're a LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, you're going to also need your corporate tax returns and transcripts. That is it, guys. If I forgot anything, I apologize. You guys know the drill. Let's jump down in the comments and let's talk about it. If you have gone through the Naca process as a self-employed person, please jump down in the comments and educate us all about your experience, even if you haven't closed yet. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video because it takes a village. Cheers.